Okay, so if you just finished Invincible Season 3, you already know this wasn't just another superhero season. This was chaos, heartbreak, and absolute destruction. By the end of it, Mark is barely holding it together, cities are in ruins, and the Viltrumites are closer than ever. So if you're heading into Season 4 and thinking, wait, how did we even get here? Don't worry, I've got you. Let's break down everything that happened in Season 3, episode by episode. We start with Mark training harder than ever under Cecil. He's faster, stronger, but also way more aggressive. You can already feel something is off. At the same time, Oliver's powers are developing super fast, and Mark now has to mentor him, which is risky. A mission against Doc Seismic turns messy, and Mark starts showing signs that he might be losing control. Right from episode 1, the show makes it clear. This season is about pushing Mark to his limits. This is where things really explode. We dive into Cecil's past and see how he became this morally gray leader. But in the present, Mark is not okay with his methods. When he finds out about the reanimation and manipulation tactics, things turn physical between them. The Guardians are forced to pick sides, and Mark basically tells Cecil to stay away from his family. On the brighter side, Mark and Eve finally start getting closer. But yeah, the trust between heroes? Completely shattered. Now Mark is operating more independently, trying to figure things out on his own. There's a prison break. Oliver jumps into action way too early and ends up getting hurt, which hits Mark hard. We also get a small but interesting subplot of villains trying to go straight. Meanwhile, Mark and Eve's relationship continues to grow. But the biggest moment? Someone mysterious is watching Mark's family, and you just know something bad is coming. This episode is wild. Mark and Eve are on a date. Finally, some peace. And then boom, time travelers show up and take Mark into a dystopian future. And guess what? In that future, Mark becomes the problem. That messes with him psychologically in a big way. At the same time, we see Omni-Man and Alan teaming up in space, hinting at bigger galactic problems. Basically, this episode plants the idea that Mark could turn into something dangerous. What was supposed to be a simple mission turns into total chaos. A prison break spirals out of control with multiple villains involved, including Titan and Mr. Liu. Mark and Eve try to contain the situation, but it becomes clear this was all part of a bigger plan. Crime bosses manipulating events, power struggles rising, it's messy. By the end, the city is barely stable, and there are still threats out there waiting to explode again. This one hits emotionally. We meet Powerplex, a villain created because of Mark's past destruction. He lost his family during Mark and Omni-Man's fight, and now he wants revenge. And the worst part, he's not completely wrong. The fight leads to more innocent casualties, and Mark is forced to face the consequences of being a hero. Meanwhile, tensions keep building everywhere. And then, Angstrom Levy is teased again. And yeah, that's very bad news. This is it, absolute chaos. Angstrom Levy returns and unleashes multiple evil versions of Mark, starting the Invincible War. Cities are destroyed, heroes are overwhelmed, and everything is falling apart. Rex sacrifices himself in a heroic moment, Eve gets critically injured, and Mark is emotionally shattered. For the first time, you really feel like Mark might cross the line. And just when things couldn't get worse, Conquest arrives. The finale is just brutal. Mark vs. Conquest is one of the most savage fights we've seen. Mark gets completely beaten down, Oliver is nearly killed, and everything feels hopeless. Then Eve unlocks a new level of power and helps turn the fight around. In the end, Mark barely manages to defeat Conquest, but he's broken, physically and mentally. And the twist? Cecil secretly keeps Conquest alive. Yeah, this is far from over. So yeah, that's Kai Invincible Season 3. This wasn't just about fights, it was about consequences. Mark is no longer just trying to be a hero. He's trying to figure out what kind of hero he even is. With the Viltrumites closing in, Earth barely recovering, and threats still alive, Season 4 is shaping up to be an all-out war. If you thought Season 3 was intense, we're honestly not ready for what's coming next. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Mark will finally cross the line in Season 4? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next breakdown.